I honestly can't believe how many books I read in the month of October. I was so busy at work. I was stressing, had no idea that I was flying through books whenever I got home. So get ready for this massive October wrap up. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. And today, like I said, we're going to be going over my October wrap up. And again, I am absolutely floored. Could not believe how many books I actually got through. So I think you all will be very shocked at this, but I had a very wide range of books that I read. So definitely dig in because I think there's going to be something for everybody. But definitely don't forget to check my description box, Bookish Box ambassador link. Christmas is coming up. They do Black Friday sale. All of this, you get 10% off the entire store using my link below. And you will also see a code on that link, which is A Midsummer's Night Reads. And you can use that for the entire store. So definitely go stock up. Also, my socials, my Goodreads, my Amazon wish list, and so much more is down below. I have paused my Patreon for November and December. We will be resuming in January, and I'm going to tell you right now, the exclusive content that I have come 2025 for Patreon members, definitely get ready. I don't think you can sign up right now because I do have it paused, but just remember, in January, you are really going to want to be there because the exclusive content is going to be insane. All right, so let's talk about all the books that I read in October. It is currently October 31st. It is Halloween. Happy Halloween, everybody. You're not this until Saturday, which is November 2nd, but who cares, right? We can just celebrate Halloween whenever we want to. I am in my Salem bookshop or book club sweater I got from Probably Smut. And I also have a Happy Halloween shirt underneath. I wore it all day to work. Absolutely loved it. And I love Halloween so much, but we live in an apartment complex, so we are not going to be having any trick-or-treaters. We don't even have any plans or anything. So I thought, why not spend Halloween with you? So I have my cup here. If you can see, look at the design on this. I got it from Home Goods whenever we went to Springfield at the beginning of the month. I absolutely love it. So grab your drink, grab your snacks, get cozy under that blanket because we're about to get into all these books. All right, so we are going to ignore the plane that is flying overhead. I hope you guys can't really hear it, but if you can, it'll go away. But the first book that I read in October was Blood of the Gods by Sapper A. Englard. This is book 2 in the Cloak of the Vampire series. This book will be coming out within the first couple weeks of November. So I got an arc of it, and I loved Cloak of the Vampire that I read back in June or July. It was a fresh take on vampires. So awesome. I can't even describe to you like everything about this book because I don't want to give spoilers away. Just know that our girl is kind of living a life with people that she calls friends, but she knows they're not friends. Finds out that her boyfriend has been cheating on her and she catches them in a club. She ends up going to the back alley because she thinks that one of her other friends is getting abducted or hurt. Stumbles in, gets kissed by this really hot guy, and then wakes up in this like vampire lair type situation, and it's like her new home because now she's a vampire and now she needs to figure out who she is. How does her past tie into everything? Why did things end the way they did in book 1? Where are we in book 2? You have vampire leagues. They have like a vampire auction for all of their newbies out there. You guys, it is spicy. It is good. It is a fresh take on vampires that you desperately need. They are ruthless. They are not your passive aggressive vampires. And I loved everything about this. I know that the writing style can be a bit choppy at times or not feel fully fleshed out, but just go in for the ride, the vibe, the lore that you learn, just everything in this story. I loved so much. And of course, I gave book 2 5 stars. I loved it. I have been scouring NetGalley every single week to see when they are going to put book 3 up to get an arc. I need to know what happens. I need to know what happens to our girl. I need to know a lot. So definitely go pick this up if you love vampire romances, but you want kind of a new take on it where it's not just, going to be in a castle with a vampire and all this stuff. I mean, it is so unique. I can't even describe it. Just go pick up. It's Cloak of the Vampires book 1. Blood of the Gods is book 2. The next book I picked up was another arc that I read, which was The Courting of Bristol Keats by Mary E. Pearson. I did not like, unfortunately. I know that it is on a lot of people's most anticipated books of the year. I do know that a couple book boxes have picked it up to do their special renditions of them, which once I get mine, I will be selling them. I could not connect to either the writing or the characters. There was something off. I felt like this was a very boring book, if that makes sense. I do agree that towards the end of it, it is setting up for a lot of things that will happen. But to get to that, I was just bored. I didn't care about the love interest. I didn't care about the world or the plot or anything like that. I just found myself just mindlessly flipping through it. Now, I'm not saying that it's a terrible book because I do know that Mary E. Pearson has a huge following and I know that her writing is very, very good. This book did not hit for me. I don't know if it was because it was an adult and not YA. I don't know if the world was just too, one-dimensional. I just didn't feel like there was a lot of substance in here. I can't point one thing or another. It wasn't like the banter was terrible or, the plot was terrible. It isn't anything like that. So I'm really intrigued on what I didn't like, but I gave it 2 stars. I'm happy that I gave it a good go though, because this was also on my most anticipated reads for 2024. Unfortunately, it was a letdown, but that's okay. Not every book can be a winner. Do you know what book can be a winner? That is Nothing Like the Movies by Lynn Painter. Listen, I have said this before. I'll say it again. Anything Lynn Painter writes in the YA genre, I will devour. I will read. I will stay up all night reading the books just so I can finish it and then beg for more. I don't know what kind of concoction Lynn Painter does with her YA books, but they are magnificent. This is book 2. Book 1 was Better Than the Movies, where you are following our 2 main leads where they live next door to each other. They're fighting for the space to park their vehicle. And, they come up with this thing where he's going to act like they're dating or he's interested in her so she can get the guy they're crushing on. And it's kind of like their whirlwind romance, like Boy Next Door type thing. But then Nothing Like the Movies comes out. And I was like, I don't understand where we're going to go with this. You guys, Lynn Painter came through. She did. She came through. She took them, aged them up. They're in college. It's a few years later. Some things have happened in those few years. Our characters aren't together anymore, but somehow they keep finding themselves in the same circle of friends. The banter, the romance, the swoon-worthy moments. I'm telling you, I love this duet. I do. I absolutely love it. So if you want a good YA romance, definitely pick up Better Than the Movies. If you've already read it, definitely go read Nothing Like the Movies. I was shocked on how much I love this book. 4 stars. Okay. So we're kind of going to go in a downhill spiral. I'm sorry, but I did read When the Sky Fell on Splendor by Emily Henry. This book, I was so excited. This was on my fantasy bingo. I had picked it because it was on my random number generator was so excited to get to this because I've been eyeballing it for like 2 years that it's been sitting on my shelf. You are following a group of characters that are teenagers or at least just recently out of high school. I can't remember their exact age. They're hanging out. They're a group of friends. They end up seeing something in the sky. They follow it out to like the desert type area. All of a sudden they all black out. They wake up the next morning and they're all laying there. They have no recollection of what happened. And the story goes from there. It's like a mystery. They're trying to unravel, what did they see? What do people know? Why is there a cover up going on? And I was so here for the alien vibes, for the sci-fi vibes. I was so here. Like I was myself in like Roswell, New Mexico, back in 1947, thinking about, going out to the craft, seeing some aliens, and the government cover up. And this book just fell flat. This book really was good whenever you are thinking about the characters and how they all intertwine in their friendship and stuff. I really did love that. But I didn't like the plot and I didn't like how it ended. I felt like we got a little ripped off. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone, but I really feel like we were cheated at the end. And that just made me angry. So I gave it 2 stars. I am definitely going to be unhauling. Okay, bear with me, guys. It gets better throughout the month, I promise. But the next one that I read was Legendborn by Tracy Dion. This was my other fantasy bingo pick for the month. And sadly, I did not like it. I wanted to like it. Do you know how many people are out there that absolutely love this book, devour it and everything? Like so sad, so very sad, because this is a like King Arthur like telling, but not really a retelling. It's about their descendant and it's about kind of like a secret society, college, seeing how our girl like into everything. I loved our girl's personality and her snarkiness, but this story just fell flat for me. I know this is a very loved book and I'm sorry, you guys, but I ended up giving it 2 stars. I don't know if I may try again at a later date. Maybe it was me at the wrong time. I don't know. But I think for right now, I'm going to unhaul it. If I ever want to pick it back up again and just try it, I will pick it up on as an ebook. But again, another one that I wanted to love and I gave it 2 stars. I'm so sad. Next one is like a viral sensation right now. Everyone is loving this book, and that is Lights Out by Nevessa Allen. This is the probably smut edition, but I'm going to tell you right now, I was kicking, I was laughing. I was having the best time of my life. And I actually listened to this as an audio. I highly suggest go and listen to it on audio because the banter and everything, like I was listening to it off and on at work while I was in the middle of doing things. And I just found myself laughing out loud. People were asking me, what is so funny? What are you laughing about? And this is good. I mean, it's a dark romance. Definitely check your trigger warnings. This is not like a romantic comedy, but you are following our girl who is a nurse and she has this secretive kink that she indulges in after work, and it is mask talk, where she gets on and she watches men with masks on doing some spicy things, and she loves it. She has one favorite one that she always watches, and she sends a picture of it to her ex-boyfriend, and lo and behold, someone knows who this person is. And then as soon as our male main character, Josh, finds out that Allie really likes him, he decides to play into her fantasy. We're just going to go from there. I loved it. I got a little bored with Allie's character because I felt like she was scared, right? At the very beginning, who was in my house, who stalked, but like she never told him to stop. She never said she was going to go to the cops. Like she kept playing into it. So like it was so very unbelievable. It really was. Like even though it's your fantasy, whenever that happens in real life, like that is red flags, right? And I know we indulge in dark romances because of course none of us want any of this to happen in real life, but at least make it somewhat believable. Nonetheless, I gave it 3 stars because I did absolutely love this book. I love Josh as a male main character. I love his quirkiness, his funny little innuendos he did. It was just so good. And the audio is by far one of the best audios that I have ever listened to. So if you want a dark romance, you want to laugh, you want to get on the hype train, definitely go read Lights Out. And then we're going to talk about another viral book that everyone's talking about, right? And that is Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. I gave this book 4 stars. I enjoyed it. I absolutely loved it. I was skeptical because I did not like Caraval. I did not like Caraval. We're just going to leave it there, by Stephanie Garber. But I did love the Once Upon a Broken Heart series, so maybe it was just a story. Who knows? But a lot of people were saying that this was like a spicier version of Caraval. I can see that. I truly, truly can. The gothic vibes in here, everything about this book was just setting the ambiance, setting the mood. I mean, creepy factor. There's murder in here. There is like the 9 levels of hell. There's like a ghost that is helping our girl. Who is our ghost? I don't know. But some spicy times happen as well. She thinks that she's going to save her sister because Phantasma, if you win Phantasma and you get out alive, you do get one wish granted to you by basically the devil himself, I guess. And so our girl is trying to save her sister. It's like, I need to save our home because whenever our mom died, like everything is just spiraling. We're about to lose our house. And in Phantasma, she learns a lot about herself, a lot about her past, a lot about her mom and her dad. So I enjoyed it. I am intrigued to see where book 2 is going to go and what are we going to be doing. If it is anything like Caraval and we enter into another Phantasma, I'm done. I will DNF on the spot. Absolutely. But I'm intrigued nonetheless. I gave it 4 stars. Like I said, it is viral right now. You want gothic ambiance. You want a good romance with spicy times and the 9 levels of hell. You love Caraval. What are you waiting for? Can you believe that I had another 5-star read this month? Another 5-star read. Okay. And that is Quicksilver by Callie Hart. I have this one that was her web exclusive before she got traditionally published. So it's like embossed and signed. Then everybody was going crazy for the discreet cover on Amazon. So I picked it up. I was like, hey, I need to own this. So I bought it before like it's entirely sold out everywhere. I think it pops up every now and again on Amazon, but it's slowly becoming very less and less. But I picked this up like a month ago and I'm so happy I did because I loved this book. 5 stars. Kingfisher is like my new shadow daddy. Sorry. Kingfisher is everything. I will die on that hill. Kingfisher is kind of up there with Rhysand. Come at me if you need. But Quicksilver is another viral fantasy romance that's going around right now. You're following our girl. She's living in kind of like the slums. The worst of the worst in this kingdom, shall we say. I think it's like Ward 4, I think is what it's called. Anyway, she crawls over, steals some guard stuff, ends up getting the guards. She ends up at the castle, getting ready to die. She lets the Quicksilver go. She has no idea. In comes this guy who is unbelievably hot, and it's Kingfisher, by the way. And he takes her through the Quicksilver into the Fae realm. I'm not going to tell you any more about that, but it's so good. It is about our girl learning about herself. It's about our girl fighting for her family. She is finding out things that she has been told her entire life is wrong. She fights her feelings for Kingfisher, but then, obviously gives into them. Their banter is good. Spicy times are amazing. I loved this so much. I'm desperate for book 2. I need to know what's going to happen. Callie Hart is very, very mean. And that cliffhanger, not nice, Callie. Not nice at all. But anyway, 5 stars, you guys. If you were ever on the fence, like, maybe it's too hype, people are talking about it too much, jump in. Seriously, jump in. It is so good. It is kind of like an epic fantasy. There is a lot of building. There is a lot of, going to do this, going to do that. But the romance, whenever the romance starts romancing, you guys, you will be hooked. 5 stars, that's all I can say. All right, I was in my Halloween October vibes and I finally picked up Where the Dark Stands Still by A.B. Poranek. I have waited all year to get to this. This is the Waterstones edition. It's absolutely stunning. I did not like it. I'm so sad, you guys. I waited all year. I was like, I can't wait. And I didn't like it. Isn't that how things go, though? But anyway, we're following our girl. She ends up traveling into the forbidden forest, comes across a creature, ends up saying, okay, I will help you out here for this in exchange. And it kind of goes from there. This is like a very cozy book. There were some stakes, but I didn't feel like there was a lot of high stakes. I felt like it was a lot of low stakes. I felt like it was more just for vibes and mood, not for like high stakes and on the edge of your seat. You need to know what's going to happen. I got a lot of cozy fantasy vibes out of this, and maybe that's why I didn't like it, because we all know I have tried. I am not a cozy fantasy reader. So I think that was my downfall. But if you want kind of like a cozy fantasy with like, we'll say medium stakes, how about that? And it's gothic. It is very ambiance. I loved that part of it, but 2 stars. I am so, so sad. So if you want, it'll be on my Pango Books account if you would like to pick up this copy. Is it me? Is it me, or is it just the book summary? That's my question. Because then I read Die for You by Lauren Jackson. This is the Bookish and Spice edition. It is absolutely beautiful. I gave it 2 stars. I'm so sad again, you guys. This is a vampire romance, and I loved everything about this. However, it has this kind of take on it where it's not mate and it's not like an uncontrollable desire, like you can't stay away from this person. Somehow this vampire feeds on our girl, and somehow he binds himself to her. Like, I guess, like, makes a mate bond with her. And now if she dies, he dies. And then if he dies, she dies. So they are bound to each other, and they're going through trying to figure out what is happening, unravel this mystery. The romance was good. I just feel like we're rushed. I feel like our girl met this guy because she knows vampires are real. Okay, like her and her friend Alec go to this town in search of vampires because she thinks that her sister was killed by vampires. So she is on the search for them. So she's not shocked when she finds them. But I don't know. I feel like she trusts this vampire way. Like there was no hesitation. The romance went from 0 to 100 in like 2 pages. So I don't know. I felt like there was just some pacing issues. But nonetheless, I think any vampire romance book lover, definitely give this a try because it really might be your jam. I also think the audiobook was extremely well done. So I gave it 2 stars. Unfortunately, another book I will be unhauling, but I highly urge try it because it could just be next 2 books I'm going to talk about together because I love Duet. It was Hollow and Led by Karina Halley. Listen, Karina Halley threw again for me. I loved everything about this. Both books I gave 4 stars, devoured them so quickly. It is a Sleepy Hollow retelling. You are following Katrina Van Tassel, where her dad passed away. You kind of get a little bit of a prologue. And then now she's older. She was supposed to marry Abraham Van Brunt, or also known as Brom Bones, who was her friend her entire life. And she did love him. And they were supposed to marry each other. But something happens. Brom decides, like, he just leaves in the middle of the night. He's gone for 4 years. No one thinks he's coming back. So her mother tells her that she is now going to attend Sleepy Hollow Institute, which is a witch's academy, I guess. And her aunt run the school, and her mom goes there once a month, I think, on the full moon, and she doesn't know why. So she ends up going, and she ends up meeting her professor, Ichabod Crane. And Ichabod is also a magic wielder, witch, mage, whatever you want to call him. They end up falling into kind of a forbidden romance. But there's also some creepy ghosts that are following Ichabod, and he's trying to unravel that mystery. And then there's also a mystery about the institute itself that they're trying to unravel. And then all of a sudden, Brom Bones comes back into Sleepy Hollow. And then shortly after, there is the Headless Horseman. Who is he? How are we going to get away from him? What are we going to do? So anyway, you guys, this duet is so good. But you have to really like spicy paranormal romance because it is super spicy. But there is a mystery in here. You get the Sleepy Hollow vibes, the gothic vibes. You get all of it. She did so well keeping to kind of like the true town and the true ambiance and the nature of everything, but kind of did a twist on it. So definitely go pick that up if you like spicy paranormal romance and you like Sleepy Hollow. I mean, who didn't like the creepy Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving? Again, I gave this 4 stars for both of them. I then end up reading Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. Again, I don't think this is my vibe. This was like a cozy mystery with like a little bit of like horror because, you know, you're trying to find out who Jack the Ripper is. And then also it's a little like gothic-y, right? Because you're in like Victorian London. There is a little bit of a romance, but it's not like the forefront of it. It's more of a mystery, more of a horror, more of a, you know, gothic feel because our girl wants to be, I guess, like a doctor, someone that works on bodies. Like she goes to her uncle all the time and he teaches a class about the anatomy, opening a body up, different things like that, like how to work on them and stuff. And so her and her uncle have this thing where she goes in, I think, dressed as a guy, or maybe people in the class know that she's a girl. I don't remember that part, but she's not supposed to work on bodies. Like women don't do that. But then all of a sudden, you know, you have this other guy that's in the class. He always challenges her, always, you know, makes her think about things and brings kind of like her muddled thoughts together whenever she's a little bit flustered. So you can definitely tell that there's going to be a romance between them. I really loved his character and I loved her character as well. But just the whole story in general, I felt was just way too cozy for me. I mean, it was great. I just didn't want to continue on. So I did sell my entire 4-book set that I had. That was so gorgeous from Bookish Box. But if I'm not going to continue, and I gave it 2 stars, I don't think that I should keep them just because they're beautiful. But again, I know this is a well-loved series, but again, also, me and Carrie Maniscalco don't get along because I did read her Kingdom of the Wicked series. I loved book 1. I was kind of mid with book 2. By book 3, Kingdom of the Feared, the way it ended, the way the story went, I was checked out. I was like, this is not for me. And I did not go on and read like Throne of the Fallen or the new book, Throne of Secrets. Like I'm just done with that world. So it could be a me problem. Carrie Maniscalco may not be an author for you. Guys will be shocked at an actual book that worked for me. Y'all never coming. I'm telling you. I read The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Lori Gilmore. Listen, you guys, I know you're already saying, Jen, this is a like cozy romance, right? Like it's a cozy vibe. How did you like that if you don't like cozy fantasy? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I have never watched Gilmore Girls, but I know it's been referenced like heavily with Gilmore Girls. I ate this up. This is about a girl who ends up taking over a cafe for her aunt. Her aunt decided that she wanted to go live her dreams, travel, I think. And so she takes over this cafe, small town, and we just start off with a mystery. There is some noises in the back of the cafe in the alley. She's frightened. She ends up meeting the guy who I guess delivers like the produce and things to the cafe. And of course it's going to be their romance, right? Because he's like the grumpy guy, the one that doesn't want to get into a romance or anything. And she starts making friends with a lot of people in the town and the community. And she's trying to unravel this mystery. She's getting other people involved in it. Her romance is starting to blossom with this guy. I loved it. It was sweet. It was wholesome. It was cozy. And there was a lot of spice. I mean, the spice was really, really good, but the cozy vibe of it, I really cannot wait to read The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. I think I'm going to try to read it in November, I just feel like it gives November vibes. So I can't wait. It's going to follow other characters in this town. I'm so excited. So again, I gave this book 3 stars because I wasn't overly in love with this, but I am going to continue, and I highly suggest people try this because the hype is real. It is good, and it's definitely perfect for the fall season. The next one I read was a cozy mystery, and I don't even know if you call it a cozy mystery, but I'm going to call it a cozy mystery, and that is Halloween Party by Agatha Christie. I wanted to give Agatha Christie a try. She was my grandma's favorite author. My grandma owned so many books by Agatha Christie. I am not an Agatha Christie fan. I think it was okay. I mean, it passed the time, but I think it's the writing. I think it's the setting. I think it was a lot of things that go against me not liking the book because it's like cozy. It wasn't really high stake. I don't know. I mean, it just wasn't much of anything. I am very happy that I did give Agatha Christie a try because at least I know that I know what her writing's like. This was my first book by her. Now, if you have any suggestions that maybe I might like a different Agatha Christie book, leave me a comment below. I'm willing to try again, but as of right now, I just don't feel like Agatha Christie is for me, but I'm willing to listen to your comments and your suggestions and give her another go. I finally got to My Dark Beast by Olivia Wildenstein. I gave this book 4 stars. Love it. Need the next book like immediately. This is a Persephone meets Sleeping Beauty. Oh, you guys. I mean, this is dealing with Atlanteans. They're like a different species, different type of creature. They have like supernatural abilities, shall we say. And some people know about them, some people don't. Our girl is basically taking care of her mother. Her mother is suffering from like Alzheimer's or dementia. I don't remember which one, but definitely trigger warnings for that. And she definitely takes care of her mom. They run a flower shop, and she ends up having to go fulfill an order. And the girl that takes the order from her treats her horribly. She ends up meeting one of the Hades brothers, Hades, right? And somehow his power stings her, and all of a sudden now she has like this tattoo on her back, and now he's trying to keep her safe. As he's driving her home, he's like, you can't stay away from me. I need to be around you until we can figure this out. Something happens and they get in a wreck. Basically, Hades is taken. She is left, and now it's a mystery. They're trying to find out what happened, where is Hades, and the story goes from there. Listen, you guys, maybe because I love Olivia Wildenstein anyway, but this book was good. It was dark, but not too dark. It has like a mafia feel to it, even though they're not mafia. And the romance is good. It's a slow burn. There's a good mystery, good stakes in here. Definitely pick it up because the next book I think is coming out in February or March, and I'm ready. The next one is like a fun book that I decided to pick up, kind of give myself a palate cleanser. This is like my favorite movie to watch during this time and Halloween time. So I ended up reading The Nightmare Before Christmas that was adapted by Megan Shepherd. This is basically adapted from the movie, but it's just in novel form. It's not very long or anything. It's actually quite a small book, but listen, you guys, I just picked it up. I was like, I need to read it because I want to know like if the novel is going to have more than the movie. And I will say it's almost identical, but you actually get some like emotions and feelings that are not very well portrayed in the movie. So I don't know. I just loved it, you guys. I mean, I gave it a 3-star because I didn't know what to rate it because obviously I love it. But, you know, it was just a cute little fun read for October. Last book that I read in October. I cannot believe that I loved this book so much that I immediately dived into book 2. And that's going to be my first for November. But that is Nectar of the Wicked by Ella Field. Why did I like this book as much as I did? I gave it 4 stars, but it's not that good. Hear me out. Okay, I like the way that the story sets up everything. Our girl's a change. Her name is Flea. We are thrusted into her caretaker is taking her back to the Fae in exchange for her real daughter. And they will not take Flea, and things happen. Flea is now basically an orphan. She tries to find out how she's going to get into the Fae lands because she wants to know who her parents are. Do they love her? Do they mean to give her up? All of a sudden, her caretaker used to work in a pleasure house. So now the madam that runs the pleasure house flees and says, hey, there's debt to be paid. You're going to go and work in the pleasure house. Flea has never even anybody. So she's like, I don't think this is a good idea. Well, a guy specifically asked for her. She ends up meeting him a couple times, and come to find out, we find out, and she makes a deal with to take her to the Feyland. She gets engrossed in a lot of there. It is super, super spicy. There wasn't really a whole lot of buildup for the romance. There really wasn't a whole lot of buildup for anything. I think that it was just spice with a little bit of plot here and there that kind of sounded like it went together. Why did I like it so much? Why? Why am I immediately devouring book 2 whenever the plot isn't that good? The spice isn't even that great, but just them mixed together. I don't know what's going on, you guys. It's a duet. At least I'm going to have that finished. But I did pick this up and I did give it 4 stars, and I'm still questioning my own sanity. All right, you guys, those are all of the books that I read in October. Please let me know in the comments below. Have you read any of these books, or are any of these books on your radar? I would always love to know your thoughts and feelings on it. But if you don't want to leave me a comment, but you just want to let me know that you're here, leave me a butterfly emoji down below in the comments. But again, any books that I am going to be unhauling from this will be on my Pango Books account that you can find in my description box below. Let's see how November goes. I know that my busy time will ramp up extraordinarily on November 1st, which by the time you're watching this, please pray for me. But we only have like 8 more weeks to go and we're out of it. So we're ticking down the time, you guys. And I'll just see how many books I can actually get read in November. But I would love to chat with you guys if you want to hit me up over on my Instagram. Just be patient with me if I don't respond immediately, because I am going through a hard right now at work. But I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!